That's not a very weird move on my part.
For the public.
What is up, everybody? Welcome in. Man, this thing is dipping on me. Adam, what's going on here?
I'll do the D-line.
Yeah, do something on over here. What is up, everybody? Welcome into the pregame show. The Nuggets in the Mile High City tonight, hosting the New York Knicks. Hopefully the road-weary New York Knicks, who have the toughest back-to-back in the association at Utah last night. Close game. Utah, very bad team at the moment. Barely eked one out at the very end. So now the Knicks go from that close game to this one. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about some trades. The trade deadline is like 36 hours away. Already some things happening. It's going to be a good pregame show. And I don't have any of the riffraff here. No Harrison, no Eric. I've only got the important pieces here. I've got Brendan Vogt.
Yeah, you know Harrison. Riffraff for
Such
second
riff-raff,
and third.
man.
Professionalism last. I'm happy to be here.
I've also got Superstar Dev.
I'm ready for them to bounce back. I'm actually glad because you look like you're about to do it. I'm glad you're not saying anything about outfits or anything like that.
I was just about to.
Yeah,
I was going to say,
I know.
Don't we have a little bit of Al Borland going on over here? Don't we feel like he's going to give us some pertinent construction advice?
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little Christmas outdoorsman here.
a little Christmas outdoorsman. My God.
You look good. You look good.
I would buy a Christmas tree from that man. He had the best Christmas trees in the whole market.
I love your outfit today. You look great.
Thank you
It's a
so
nice
much,
outfit.
man.
It is.
Wow. I was not aiming for your guys' compliments. The Nuggets taking on the Knicks tonight. Nuggets are one in a row. We're streaking. We got a little bit of a win streak going on here. The Knicks are having a season from hell, really. Vogt, what can you tell us about this game?
Sure, Austin Rivers is out. So there you go. That's fun.
We concerned about this hip flexor? Like, hips are weird.
The question to Malone in the pregame was framed as, has there been any consideration or conversation about just shutting him down through the All-Star break? And Malone said, they haven't made it that far yet, but it is, something they're being cautious with. And obviously Austin Rivers himself will have input on how he approaches this. Malone called him a 10-year vet who knows his body well.
I'm 38. Still don't feel like I know my body that well.
Yeah, me either. But I don't think
I'm
we're
like, man, I got a pain
athletes.
here. What is it? I don't know. Am I hungry?
Malone also fielded a question on keeping focus at this time of year with the trade deadline coming up. And we got old school raised by Brendan Michael Malone tonight, who just said, just preparing as usual. I think there's this thought out there that each head coach is grabbing each guy individually and talking to them about the trade deadline. I can't speak for 29 other coaches. I'm not doing that. This is the NBA. I'm not going around having hearts-to-hearts and having pillows and warm milk in my office.
Wow, warm milk.
Yeah. So
he warmed the milk for the
I don't know.
That
that question really struck a chord with Malone. But.
Yeah, really. Can I say something?
Please do.
I want to know if you agree with me on this. I would say that it was like a bit of a terse Malone in the pregame with reference to the trades, and it was a little weird because I feel like it's not that hard to go in and be like, it's the trade deadline. We're all professionals. I let the guys know. We love this and that. Malone was almost like, look, guys, people get traded. It's not that big of a deal. And I was kind of like...
He actually seemed a little tighter about it than usual himself.
I was kind of like, this. He's saying all the things you would say when you're about to make a trade. That's what it sounded like, so I don't know.
Especially to somebody that you probably like on top of that. So it's like
it's a business. Guys, just get over it, okay?
Hey, make your own reads at home, but that's the quote, and it was a forceful one. He did say that he thinks Tim is the best in the business, or one of the best in the business, I should say, in communicating with guys in this way. Their agents, the players, making sure everyone is sort of up to date, and it's a transparent process. Malone said that he's not involved in that. He's just focused on the Knicks.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I believe. I'm sure they have conversations, this or that, but the diplomatic job of a front office member during this time, it is diplomacy. Like, you do have to get out there and talk to agents in ways, and look, no matter whether you're planning to make trades or open to making trades, and I'm not sure which one the Nuggets are, you do have to be able to present and listen to offers without ruffling feathers. Like, always there's this like, were you talking about trades about me? And it's like, hey, man, look, we're going to take calls. We're going to do this or that. And so his comment about Tim Conley is one of the best in the biz at that. I honestly think it's an important and underrated skill for a front office member.
Well, but yeah, maybe something to think about, especially, Tim's always told us that he tries to treat these guys as people and not assets and have those relationships in mind. A couple of former Nuggets, trade deadline buyout candidate guys, so just something to think about.
Yeah.
Malone did say that they gave their guys off from practice yesterday. it was a turn the page approach to that Brooklyn win. Malone said you do watch a lot of film as a team, but sometimes you have to pick and choose when, sort of be strategic about it.
Yeah.
And he circled this as one of those times where, all right, they got that win. It wasn't perfect. Just move on to New York. Try to be better today. So
You missed one important detail.
Oh, man, what do I miss, Adam?
DeMarcus Cousins.
That's right. No, I have that. Michael Malone did say that he fully expects DeMarcus Cousins to return to the team at some point. Later sort of backtracked that comment a little bit, and he said, it is my hope that we see DeMarcus Cousins at some point. He did also mention the words flexibility. So, again, we know the trade deadline is approaching. That DeMarcus standard 10-day deal has expired. So before they sign him to a new one, maybe there's some due diligence to do with these phone calls being made, all of that. But Malone did say that Cousins has been good for them. Obviously, he has to work on the tech issue. But they've been 5-0 in those Cousins games, and he would like to see him back.
You know what's funny? George Karl also has to work on his tech issues.
Is that true?
We always try. No, I'm just saying we always try to get him on the show, and then his tech, he can't figure out his computer.
That's hilarious. I like the fact that Malone was upfront and talked about things that Marcus Cousins clearly needs to work on, but also he gave his stamp of approval of I want this guy back. I want him to be here. And you don't really see that, especially from, guys in this, type of situation. In the past, he's talked highly of these players, and he tells you how they're NBA players or how they should remain in this league. But he doesn't say, I want those guys back. So for him to do that, we already know the history with those two guys. But it was great for him to step out of his norm.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what this DeMarcus Cousins thing. I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys about this the other day, but I mentioned it on the show. The DeMarcus Cousins, I don't get a fair whistle comment. How was that received by you guys? Because I feel like it was a topic of conversation here a little bit amongst Nuggets Nation.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is, when the guys on this team, on Denver, it's kind of easy to be yeah, hey, he hasn't gotten the benefit of the doubt. And we have had these conversations and learned these lessons with Austin Rivers and Michael Porter Jr. respectively. So there's plenty of meat.
There's got to be a way to raise it and then lower it so that
on that perspective.
There's got to be a way.
But I also think with Boogie, the reality is, very few players have had that rep follow them their entire career. I would imagine that Boogie has played a role in that reputation being garnered.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure he doesn't love it. I believed that part, but I think some guys, for a guy who knows he has that reputation, he still spends a lot of time sort of arguing and getting into scuffles. That's the best way I could put it.
I'm not buying it. Honestly,
That's a better
I'm just
way
be
of-
very honest. I'm not buying it because this is who he is,
Yeah.
and he has not done many things to change that. He's still getting texts. He's still very argumentative. He's still a bully, and that's who he's always been. So for him to act like he doesn't know where it comes from, he hasn't really stepped out of, being that person. And it's not to say that he's the worst person for having
Right.
that. There's bullies in this world. There are guys that just rub people the wrong way, and also they're confrontational. And he seems to be one of those people. So I was a little bit shocked that he was playing coy or as if he had no idea why that was his reputation. But also, I will say that a guy on the second 10-day contract that just got scolded by the fans and everyone else, you have to try to say something to make it seem like it's not all on you. There are different people. Ron Artest would have said, hey, this is me.
Yeah.
Boogie Cousins is I don't know why it's like that. Because
I almost
that
feel
was the
like at this
conversation.
stage of his career, which is he's trying to get back into the league, and he can, and maybe hang around, but you almost have to embrace it. You almost have to be yeah, that's who I am. Bring me on the team because I'm just going to be an a-hole. Here comes Kale to fix it. See, I'm telling you, it's not that hard.
I'm off camera, bro.
Oh, yeah, because we did a close-up on me. Look at that. Man, I can't tell if it's the monitor or what, but you put a spray tan feature on me. It looks fantastic.
No, you look good
Absolutely.
tonight. I don't know what
I'm
it
not
is.
that
By the
tan,
way,
but-
the chat's right, man. I'm losing focus. I'm a mess. This mic thing is throwing
It's because
me-
of this thing.
It's
and
completely
we're-
off my
yeah,
game.
We got it now, though. But yeah, for Boogie, I felt this same way where I was kind of I got this cousin, one of my closest cousins. Shouts to Adrian.
met him, yeah.
And he's I don't know what it is. People are always picking fights with me. And I'm yeah, I think you're always picking fights with people. I think we can rephrase this and we'll find the problem here. But I think that's kind of how Boogie is. Let's move on now because we are in trade season, guys. Trade season has opened up. And we've all been doing our due diligence here, poking around, seeing what you hear. Our friend of the show and also just personal friend Jake Fisher with Bleacher Report, shared that he keeps hearing Jermichael Green, Facundo Campazzo are available. That tracks. Guy's not in the rotation. But I wonder if Denver isn't searching for maybe something a little bit bigger than what we thought. Now, not the big game hunting, the Ben Simmonses and the James Hardens or this or that. But I do wonder if Denver has looked at their roster this year and actually has. We keep thinking, what conclusion could you possibly jump to? I wonder if Denver actually is more closer to saying, hey, no, we do have some things we've learned about this team. Would it surprise you, Dev, if you saw one of the mainstays on this roster, a la a Will Barton, a Monte Morris, a player of that, or one of the new guys like a Bones Highland, a Zeke Naji? Would it surprise you if you saw Denver make a play with one of those guys to try to bring back an impact player?
I'll say that it would not surprise me at all, especially because of how many guys at the end of the bench are being pushed around. And also, I don't feel like there's a solid rotation. We always talk about who's that 8th and 9th guy, and we have like a list of 4 or 5 people.
Right.
And going into the playoffs, you want to have that solidified group that you're going to go with, and I don't feel like they have that. Now, if you go and add an extra piece or an extra 2 pieces, for a guy, maybe that's how you solidify that. So it wouldn't shock me at all. Also, we haven't had as many conversations as I assumed about, the coach or whoever saying, we're still not at our full strength. The Nuggets are still missing a lot of guys due to injury. Like, I felt like that would have been a conversation around this time where they say they feel comfortable or they're okay staying put because they know what's coming next year. So I think that there should have been a little bit more conversation, which like leads me to believe maybe there is something that's brewing.
I would be surprised. I would. I think they like the youngsters, and I think the front office's top priority is to get back to those 5. Now, having said that, a Will Barton specifically, not a Will Barton, is the most expendable of that starting 5. So if you were looking, and he's also, with healthy guys on the roster, your best bet at a value trade, right, outside of the youngsters. So I get why that conversation is there. I think it's possible, but I would be surprised, guys. I think that Tim and company feel as though they built a contender, and I don't think they're super eager to start chasing their own tail just to catch whatever this season is.
Will Barton for Bogdan Bogdanovic, is that a move you would pull the trigger on? Bogdanovic, by the way, has been, I think, out of the starting lineup. He got hurt for a little bit. They went on a roll without him. He comes back and played really well off the bench, and now maybe he's a bench guy. But is that a move, if you could build some kind of trade around that you would go for, Dev?
I mean, yes and no. I say no because Will Barton, he's been around the Nuggets organization for so long. They know how to play around him. They know what he's going to bring. And I feel like with Bogdan, you don't have those same type of things. He's a great shooter, and the Nuggets desperately need shooting, but he's not like a great defender. He also is not a great playmaker. And without, Jamal Murray, you need a guy that can be a playmaker or put the ball in his hands and let him create. Bogdan is not that. So now you fill a void of a shooter, but now you lose multiple things that you're having. So I think that Will Barton makes more sense for that team. I'm not saying that I think Will Barton is better than Bogdan. I just feel like he's better for the Nuggets. So I would rather have Will Barton.
It's an interesting conversation because there's been a lot of talk about, okay, well, if you could turn Will into a stout perimeter defender, doesn't that make a lot of sense? That is not Bogdan.
Right.
This is kind of more of a lateral move than it may seem. Bogdan's shooting itself is actually streakier than some might think. This year, I think he's like 36% from 3. And these career and season numbers, just in terms of points, rebounds, and assists, Barton's got better numbers, and he's been here longer. So, do I love the idea of a Serbian shooter around Jokic?
Is it really just comes down to that?
No, I think it would make Jokic happen. I think he would be a good player.
Yeah.
I think it would work well. But does it make them that much better? I actually don't know. I don't know.
That's a move I'd be very intrigued by. Bogdanovic, like Will Barton, has another year on the deal, maybe even a player option. I think he has 1 year and then a player option on top of that. I think it is probably closer to a lateral move. Here's what I would say. Will Barton does more things. Like, he can handle, he can run the point a little bit more than like a Bogdanovich could. But I wonder if Bogdanovich, when everybody is healthy, like if you put that 5-man lineup, if he would be a guy that would maybe fit better around it as like as a fifth option type. I wonder. The other one, we're going to talk about this in a second, but Josh Hart just got the trade came through. We're going to talk about it next segment, but then it was, hey, actually it's not finalized. Josh Hart's actually at the Pelicans game today wearing a Brandon Ingram jersey. So that deal has not gone through, and it sounds like he was traded to Portland, but with the intention that Portland was not going to keep him. So maybe another team enters the fray here. Maybe that's Denver. Josh Hart, would that be a player like Will Barton, Josh Hart? Where do you go on that one, Vogt?
I mean, that's that different conversation, right?
A little more of a defender.
More of a defender, a transition guy, a hustle guy, right? And a younger guy, right? And healthier. So that's interesting as well. I don't know what it would look like at this point, right? For Denver. Like, it seems like Josh Hart was the center of that package. So I don't know if he's the guy that you finagle in a three-way.
Well, we'll have to talk about it in a second, but I don't know what Portland's doing. I have to imagine they're wanting like young or flexibility or something. So maybe that. So I don't know.
I mean, that's
you
an
don't
interesting
rebuild
question.
around Josh Hart. Like that's
that's
not that
true.
good.
I think Josh Hart answers questions about putting him with that second unit, and he could create or he could make things happen. He's a great scorer. Like, he can score the basketball, and you can feel confident having a guy that gives you time for Jokic to be on the bench or Jamal Murray on the bench, and you have another guy that you could add to it. And also, he's a pretty good defender and a point of attack defender, which the Nuggets desperately need. So I do like the Josh Hart. I would do that for Will Barton.
Well, so let's go into this trade that just happened today, because it's kind of it's not quite a blockbuster. I don't know. C.J. McCollum is going to New Orleans along with Larry Nance Jr., and then New Orleans is sending Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Josh Hart. I don't remember who the third piece was in that trade. There's one more.
I'm forgetting already now as well.
It doesn't matter. Those are the main pieces. And here's the thing. Portland clearly punting on the season, but I got to be honest with you. Here's my number one reaction when I saw this trade. The Nuggets have to avoid the play-in. I think New Orleans is not good enough to beat Denver like in a 7-game series, but in a 1 game, that's scary. You got the Lakers, you got the Clippers. To me, I look at that and I think New Orleans gets better in the short term. I don't know about like long term. I'm not afraid about their rise unless Zion starts playing again. But just as like for this year, that's a formidable team, I think. And then I look at Portland and I go, I'm really worried now about Damian Lillard. I know the plan has always been he's loyal, he wants to stay this or that. They're going to test that, man. That team is in rebuild. I don't see that team being good this year. I don't see him being good next year. I don't see him being good the year after that. So what are we doing here?
And the biggest pitch right now is this phantom cap space that Portland doesn't actually have yet unless they make a lot of moves. And by the way, should they extend Simons like they want to, that cap space is gone.
Right.
So, I mean, that move was about getting under the tax.
Right.
They're going to tell you a lot of different things. That's what it was. And if I'm sure Damian Lillard didn't, at least knew about, if not greenlit the trade. But if I'm him, I definitely have even more questions. His loyalty is his biggest fault, though, Dev.
Yeah, loyalty is his biggest fault. Some things are horrible over there, really, honestly. It's horrible. You could see why they would make that trade while saying why would they make that trade. Like, it really doesn't get them better, I guess. I mean, you could have the idea of there's another star that can go over there later, but it doesn't answer things right now. And also, he's been talking about how much he wants to win, and that doesn't put him in a situation to win anymore. So, like, I don't feel bad for him. I will say I don't feel bad for Lillard because, I mean, he's a very loyal person that wants to be there.
Right.
But also, that did not make him better.
Man?
What is the point?
Don't understand it. Like, but it makes me worried, honestly, for like a Dame trade getting forced to something else. I mean, I look at that team and I think they're primed for the trade Dame for a ton of picks to some team that and then just reset the deck. It makes me a little bit nervous here. The other trade that's so crazy today, this one was the true blockbuster trade. Jeremy Lamb, okay, it's going to increase in value here. Justin Holiday and Domantas Sabonis are going to Sacramento. Sacramento is sending out Tyrese Halliburton. This is bizarre. Buddy Hield, Tristan Thompson. Who won this trade, Dev?
I feel like Sacramento wins because they get.
Oh wow!
Yeah, well, they get Sabonis. I just think that he's really. I love Halliburton. I think he's like a really good player, and he's also like so young, and like you could build around him. And I think he's going to be a like a really good player in this league. But you get Sabonis, and you get Sabonis around like Fox. Like I think that just like it matters. I also think that there's something coming with Bagley that they're going to try to get rid of him. So like maybe there's an extra piece that's there. What I don't understand is why Holiday would go to a California team, because he's like adamant about not being vaxxed.
So do they have a rule that
California teams can't. Like they're
what's Sacramento playing for this year?
Yeah. So he's
and
just
maybe
there.
next year it's different.
Yeah, he's
likely.
just there. Yeah, that's true. But also, like, I really do think that just getting Sabonis like adds things. But also, I feel like both teams got rid of their best player.
Yeah.
Why do that?
I'm kind of glad you said that. I mean, I don't agree, but there does need to be a little more signaling of Sabonis is the best player in this trade.
Right.
He is the best player involved. So you are right to circle that. And I do think he's kind of being underrated in this trade a little bit, although that probably has more to do with Sac's roster and the fit and all of that. But to that point, moving on from Halliburton to bring in Sabonis around Fox and then stripping both of them of their shooters, a point guard and a big who need shooters around them, is wild. It's just a confusing choice, and it seems neither here nor there to me philosophically. Like, are the Kings going for it? Are they rebuilding? Does this move give you any information? Like, I have no idea what they're doing. For Indiana, Halliburton's a great get, and so I think Indy wins this trade. But Dev, you're right. I mean, the best player did go to Sacramento.
I just sent you a tweet in production assignments. Kale, pull it up. The move kind of, because I'm actually with Dev a little bit on this and that. I think Sacramento got just destroyed today online, and I feel like it's bad. Like I love Tyrese Halliburton, so I don't get it. I do love this tweet though that I saw somebody put out. Mom, can we have Murray and Jokic? No, we have Murray and Jokic at home. And it's Sabonis in the airbox. I love this one. It is like Sabonis is such the like B version of Jokic. I mean, they do all the same things. Just Jokic obviously bigger, taller, better. De'Aaron Fox, I don't know about that comp to Jamal Murray, but whatever. Hey, Kentucky, we'll call it a wash.
They were actually comped a lot early. It was, remember Jokic originally had to clear the cat, sort of hurdle. Right. Jamal had a De'Aaron Fox comp with him for a while.
I do look at this at Indiana, though, and I go Tristan Thompson. And here's why this is interesting. Like, is Tristan Thompson long for Indiana? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe that's another one of these deals that's looking for a second leg to it, which would be interesting. But, for them to get – I love the Duarte-Halliburton backcourt. I love that backcourt. I'm in. I think that's a really fun backcourt. Some shooting, some ball handling, some, like, high IQ. I like that.
You have to play – Miles Turner like a lot more minutes.
Yeah,
I just don't love that. I don't
really.
Miles Turner does.
I don't. Yeah, of course he does.
Did you guys see his like thing?
Oh, that was hilarious. I loved it actually. I loved the response on Twitter.
So he went. So some Instagram model. I'm gonna blurt you.
Here we go. Hell yeah.
There's some Instagram model that he's hollering at.
Nice. Oh, that was horrible. I'm not talking about that.
This is what I'm talking about. He's hollering at some Instagram model, and then she's like, "Hey, come join the Lakers." And then he did a little like.
Yeah, he was corny. That's the thing is, I think so that people don't think that millionaires can be corny, and he is.
It's like, what's that movie, Moneyball, where they're like talking to the scouts, and the scouts are like, he is intimidated. He's got sweaty hands around his girlfriend, or like all this stuff. This is how I go old man when I see that video, where I'm like, I would not sign Miles Turner if he is like on social media begging to go out with a Instagram model. I'm like, I'm sorry, that guy lacks like he's too corny to be good at basketball.
That's awesome.
That's my take.
Although, are you sure? Because like, I'm not going to say that.
Oh, okay, yeah, just better not.
I'm going to bury that one.
I went too far as well.
Yeah.
All right, it's the time of the show where Dev makes us all a little bit of money.
Let's do it.
Open up DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, and let's play some money. I need to get back on track. Maybe I'll bet, because I've lost like 8 in a row, I'll bet 8 times bigger than usual.
Yeah, this is not good math.
Good?
That's how the best, most responsible gamblers do
That
it.
is how you do it.
Nuggets come into this game as 9-point favorites. It was at 8 earlier. I mean, it's a point, which nothing really changed that. I don't understand where that came from. But they're 9-point favorites. Maybe like just the favorites are betting on it. They think it's going to be a blowout. Second night of a back-to-back, and you just played Utah. It's tough. It really is.
Yeah,
and now you're playing without Mitchell Robinson. And I think that's why the line is so big. They're playing without Mitchell Robinson, and on top of that, they have no other bigs. Nerlens Noel is not playing in this game, which leaves Taj Gibson to guard Nikola Jokic.
Let's go.
That is just not right. It's trifling for a coach to do something like that.
It's messed up.
So what we're going to do is we're just going to hurry up and lock in Jokic rebounds. We already know he's going to get his rebounds. He has no choice.
Is that a lock?
I feel like it's a lock.
Okay.
Like, I feel like he could get it, like, very early. I think this is a game that Jokic is going to sit in the fourth quarter just because I think it's just tough to come off of a game like that. And the Knicks aren't as good this year as they have been in years past. So I really do like that, and I think that this is a game that he'll just, dominate in. As far as another, like, line that I really like, we got to see Will Barton come to life also. I think that there's, like where there's smoke, there's, like, fire. I think that there's something to, like, him understanding maybe he could be traded. So I think he's going to try to bounce back. And also, we talked about it earlier, Adam, like, there has to be, like, something to that last week beforehand where just weird things happen. I think it goes in the other direction. I think Will Barton has a good game. I'll go points, rebounds, and assists. It is pretty low, and I think they're going to run him with that second unit. 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I think that's a pretty easy get.
All right, I'll throw a unit on it. I'm down. Will Barton. Should mention also there is a big man boost tonight. The Nikola Jokic big man boost or big man boost, however you want to emphasize.
It's Taj Gibson guarding him.
Yeah.
With no one off the bench that I can even think of guarding him.
Well, here's tell me if this is a sucker bet here, because they're giving you an odds boost on a Jokic triple-double. A Jokic triple-double, plus 250. It was supposed to be like plus 170. So they're bumping up the odds quite a bit. But is he going to get a triple-double, or is that just a, like, they're just making the odds favorable here?
The thing that makes it hard with triple-double is the assist. Maybe he just gets himself going with assists only in that first half, because with Taj Gibson, they're going to have to double team. You have no choice but to double team, so he's going to get it out of his hands early. So I do like a triple-double in this setting. He just has to get it in 3 quarters.
Okay. Should we build a single game parlay, or do you have another bet for us?
No, that's what I really do like.
The single game. Oh, those are the ones you like?
Yep.
Let's build a single game parlay tonight. I'm going to go straight over to threes, because threes are just the most fun thing to bet on. Do we have any bones, Highland? We do not. So is there a person that we think is going to make some threes tonight for sure? Is Aaron Gordon going to make a three?
Monte Morris.
I think we will get Monte Morris at least one.
All right, Monte Morris, 1-3. That's where we're going to start out. We're going to go over to Jokic steals, just because I love taking Jokic steals. I feel like he gets it every single time. So we're going to go down Jokic steals 1. Where's it at? Where is Jokic steals at? I think we lost Jokic steals. I don't see it here. Crap. All right, we got to get a third leg in here. Points. Do we like Aaron Gordon points tonight? 11.5. He's been scoring.
He has been scoring. They have to get him going. Yeah, I like that.
All right, 11.5. Is there one other player we can get for steals? I can't believe they took away my steals combo for Jokic. This makes me so sad. That's probably because I made so much money on it this year. Rebounds. Should we do Jokic rebounds like you were saying?
Yeah, we might as well, because he's
10.5. All right. So that's our parlay. It's 4 picks. I've got Nuggets money line, 1 3-pointer from Monte, Aaron Gordon 11.5 points, Jokic 10.5 rebounds. I feel good about it. I'm going to throw a unit on it. Triple up my units.
Hell yeah.
Can't believe I get 3-1 odds on that one. That does it today. Nuggets, Knicks. If they lose, it's going to be the saddest losers lounge ever. If they win, we're going to have a good time. If somebody gets traded, it's going to get weird. Either way, we're going to have something interesting. We'll see you guys after the game.
Bye, everyone.